Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren. If you are new here, I am diagnosed on the autism spectrum when it was poorly understood back in January of 1987 at Cleveland Clinic when I was 5 years old. And back then, what I had was called pervasive developmental disorder. And pervasive developmental disorder referred to a group of disorders that can affect the development of a child. And in that category of disorders, there was autism. And in order to be classified as autistic at the time, you had to be nonverbal, which I was verbal, but just didn't really talk much. And later, when Asperger's syndrome was introduced in the diagnostic literature, I was given that diagnosis. And right now, it's just autism level 1 to 3 based on the severity of the symptoms, with level 1 being the least severe and level 3 being the most severe. So technically right now I'm classified as level 1 autistic, and this video is called being autistic versus being snobby. And the reason I decided to name this video this is because of some things that I've learned over the years. I have seen a lot of stuff, with my wisdom and age and all that, about life, and I have researched myself, and I have experienced this myself, that people on the autism spectrum are judged by society, and some of them, like me, were misinterpreted as being mean or snobby. Unfortunately, many neurotypical people in all walks of life are snobby to autistics, and they don't even realize it. And that's what's really hurtful. I'm gonna be honest, I literally cannot stand snobby people. I prefer genuinely honest and open people about everything. People have judged me as being mean during my growing up years, and it's really affected the way I feel about myself. Everybody knew each other in our area when I was growing up, and I was known as the girl that cried all the time. And there has been times where people have not wanted to send their kids to school because of me. It really hurt my feelings a lot, because I know that I didn't ask for this disorder. And one time my mom went shopping in our local store for an Easter dress one spring, and she came across somebody that knew me from school, and this lady said to my mom's face that there was nothing wrong with me, that she just spoiled me rotten. That really hurt my mom's feelings. And what did my mom do about it? She just walked off. I've dealt with a lot of cliques in my life, and I've witnessed a lot of cliques. This is what I've learned about cliques. I have seen myself that cliques happen in all walks of life. And a lot of times these cliques are insecure about hanging out with outsiders. These are people of all age groups, races, economic background, and religion. And we often think of cliques as a group of teenagers or young adults who dress nice and they don't want to be friends with anybody that looks or acts different than they do. But in reality, we can't just judge high school students on cliques. I don't think being a clique is bad as long as you're kind of outsiders. My next point is autism versus snobbery. Here's what I've learned about autism and what I've observed from my own research and what I've experienced myself. Number one, they want to be social, but they don't understand it, and they will often do and say things that are inappropriate to the situation, and people will be like, oh no, that's not very nice, don't do that. Two, they're very naive, and they're often easy targets to take advantage of by criminals. Number three, when you have meltdowns with autism, you're often seen as bratty, immature, looking for attention, whatever. Nope, none of that is true. My parents were told a lot of times that I was just bratty, looking for attention, etc. And teachers would often do things with me to try to control the meltdowns that wouldn't work. And sometimes it often made it worse because they didn't understand autism back then. 4, they're bluntly honest and they vent out their true feelings. If you're bluntly honest, you're often considered rude and unkind. And when you vent out your true feelings, you're often seen as weak. Number 5, poor eye contact is not what you think it is. Like for me, whenever the times that I've had poor eye contact, it was often because I felt sensory overload and I was on the verge of a potential meltdown or shutdown. For me, I can remember one time that I was not paying attention to nothing and I had poor eye contact because I was trying not to look at this picture of a wildcat hanging on our school gymnasium wall that just really spooked me out to look at it. And one of my friends was trying to talk to me, and I would just like say a few things back to her, but I didn't make eye contact with her because I was terrified to look at the wildcat and I didn't want anybody to know about it. Also, kids on the autism spectrum are less likely to get promoted in school or on the job or any sports because people don't understand them. And number 7, people with autism use justice over fairness. Justice, I believe, is a good thing, and fairness. Okay, on the other hand, let's talk about what I've observed in my life lessons of snobbery. Number 1, they're nice to the face but tell little white lies because they're ashamed to admit the whole truth. Number 2, fairness over justice. They believe in treating people the way that they're treated. I believe it's good to be nice to people, but it's okay to practice justice. Number 3, they hide their insecurities. Number 4, they put up a good front to hide any issues. Like say, they'll put stuff on Instagram or Facebook and look like they're living the perfect life when in reality they have got horrible problems. Number 5, they shy away from social misfits. It's almost like they're embarrassed to be seen with someone who's an outsider. Number 6, they're more likely to get promoted than what someone on the autism spectrum would because they're so-called socially acceptable, even though they're equally qualified as what someone in the autism spectrum is. Number 7, fairness over justice. When they make poor eye contact, it's often because they're trying to cut somebody out, or they're ashamed of something, or they're mad at someone. So, autism is often mistaken for snobbery. If someone tells you that yourself or your autistic loved one is snobby because they do something that's considered socially inappropriate, it's your job to stand up to the person and educate them about autism and tell them that you or your child didn't mean anything and that social errors are a common symptom of autism and that autism is something that you're born with. In conclusion, be kind to autistic people. They're so much better than what we give them credit for. And neurotypical people are just as guilty about being snobby as what autistics supposedly are. And from a Christian perspective, the Gospels say that anytime you mistreat someone, even if it's just being snobby, that is considered murder. Also, I want to add that when I make these videos, my intention is to educate others on what it feels like to live with autism and to provide hope, and it is not to take the place of medical or psychological advice. And if you have any health concerns about your child or yourself, please speak up to a qualified professional. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.